Hey, I wanted to make a video based on my current thoughts on today's cinema. Now, a problem we're all seeing is they're not making anything new. It's either sequels or reboots or rehashing the same story again and again and again. If I hear AC/DC in another goddamn movie, I'm going to lose my mind. Now, a few weeks ago, I was watching Deadpool, and the third one. And I was sitting down watching the trailers, and I realized all these trailers, they're the same. They even have that intense piano thing. We'll just hit one note. And they're all remakes, sequels, returning to theaters. They're even remaking a movie, Speak No Evil, that came out 2 years ago. It's a shot-for-shot remake. Why? No one's asking for this. No one's like, I want to see a remake of that movie I just saw. What is this, The Last of Us? No, it's even worse than The Last of Us. So I have a pretty good theory on why we keep seeing the same movies being released again and again. And yes, Marvel counts because all those movies feel the same. And I know this because I watched The Boys, I watched Invincible, and you know what? Even though those are superhero shows, they don't feel the same. I thought I was burnt out from superheroes, but I'm just burnt out from Marvel. I mean, Star Wars, they're still heavily relying on Jedi, the same plot devices again and again. Oh my god. So the reason why, in my theory, is these movies cost like $250 million. $250 million was Love and Thunder. Yeah, that movie cost $250 million. That's a lot of money to lose. So they're going to take the low risk, low effort movies and keep pumping them out because you know what? That's safe. You'll get your money back. And it was working until people caught on and, we're done. Now, before I get to my point of how we should now look for movies, I want to change subjects kind of and talk about the gaming industry because there's a parallel. AAA developers are having the same issue. And I mean EA, Activision, but you got your Maddens, your Call of Duties, your Battle Royales, your Battlefields. And all these games are really feeling samey. And the same thing again and again. Nintendo, they're AAA too, but I mean at least they're trying to put out new stuff, so it's really hard for me to rag on them, But yeah, these AAA developers, they're putting in even more money into these games. And so if they don't see as much money coming back, that's going to really hurt. So they're not going to take any risks. Make slight changes to games, if any changes at all, and just keep releasing them like that. Have that money keep rolling in. Now, if you want something very unique, you got to look at the AA and the single A developers. Now, let me explain because it's going to be kind of hard because there is no hard or definite line between these three definitions, although I'm pretty sure, AAA, Activision, EA, and Nintendo, those are AAA, and you're not going to find really anybody who's going to argue that. But from the AA games, you got the people who made Helldivers 2, you got the people who made System Shock Remake, Overcooked, Guardian Gals, Killing Floor 2. That's just the surface. There are so many AA games, and they all have their unique ideas and all unique visions and creativity and freshness to them. They're doing these things because they really care, and in order to stand out, you can't just make another Call of Duty. Nobody wants to play a lower budget Call of Duty. It makes no sense. You're not going to do so hot there. So you got to come up with something different and unique and something that pushes the envelope. So in order to be successful, you have to stand out. And that's why the AA developers are once again where you want to look when it comes to fresh new ideas in video games. Now single A developers, same kind of story, made it with an even smaller team, sometimes just one guy, like Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, that started out as one guy, and then it ballooned into what we have now, a whole franchise. Axiom Verge, these are all really good single A games, all trying something fresh, new, different, and trying really hard. Oh, Stardew Valley, let's add that onto the list. And they're trying really hard to make a unique experience, a good experience, and they truly care about their craft. Now, let's flip it back over to the movie side of this. A good example is Clerks. It was made with around $30,000, but that's small potatoes compared to $250 million. But it's a small movie, and a lot of people know this movie, and it's adored and it's loved. I think a good example of a single-A developer, a really good example, is David Kirkman. He made this really well done Static Shock fan film, and I watched it, I loved it. Yeah, it didn't have a big budget, so there wasn't crazy special effects everywhere, but you know what? It worked. It really worked. Come on, WB. Just give a Static Shock back. Now if we go up to AA, we have Leica and Aardman are my favorite examples. Leica made Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls, Paranorman, Coraline, which is getting re-released to theaters. And Aardman, they made Wallace and Gromit, they made Chicken Run, Flushed Away, Early Man, Pirates, you know. These are studios that don't have the Disney budget, for example, but they still put out masterpieces, just lovable works of art, fresh new ideas. And these are what you want to look for. Look for the smaller developers. Look for the smaller filmmakers, because they're going to be the ones taking those risks, those shots. They want to stand out. They want to be something different, unique, and something better. So if you want a good, interesting movie experience, that's what you got to look for. My point is, if you want to see new ideas, fresh ideas, you can't always be looking at the big dogs. It's the smaller guys who are going to have you on that. And yeah, like I said, you're going to have to forgive them because they may not have the huge budgets, so they can't have all the really nice special effects, but they're going to give you a different story. Maybe a better story. And I'm not saying every single one's going to be good. Trust me, there are a lot of stinkers. Actually, if I'm being honest, the worst thing a movie can be is boring. If you're really bad but also wildly entertaining, that's just as good. I've watched The Room more times than I can count. And that's all I wanted to say. If you have anything to comment, ideas, or heck, if you have any smaller studios to point out to me, I'm all ears, because I'm always looking for those new ideas, those fresh new thoughts, or fresh new films and characters, and I love that stuff. Alright, so if you guys come up with any of those, put them in the comments. It'd be awesome. I'll see you later.